Today marks 1 year since Huntsville realtor Ronald Dumas Jr. went missing. While cases like his are rare, people go missing daily. And while most return home safely, others aren't so lucky. You might have heard it before. Don't call the police until 24 hours have passed if someone goes missing. But is that really true? Can you report someone missing immediately, or do you really have to wait a whole day? We verify.
When someone you love goes missing, every minute counts. Waiting a full day to call law enforcement could delay searches, alerts, and crucial investigations. In Alabama, there are special rules for elderly adults, people with dementia or autism, and other vulnerable individuals, making it even more important to know when and how to report. But can you report someone missing right away, or do you have to wait 24 hours? We verify. Our sources are the Code of Alabama and the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency. According to Aaliyah, when a person goes missing, local law enforcement should be contacted immediately. For vulnerable populations like elderly adults, people with dementia, autism, or other mental or physical disabilities, Section 2619A4 of the Alabama Code allows caregivers to provide statements confirming the individual's condition. This ensures searches and alerts can begin immediately, even if the person cannot advocate for themselves. Officers trained in handling missing persons with these conditions may also be deployed to assist, speeding up the response. But this doesn't mean people not included in vulnerable populations have to wait. According to Section 26195, any law enforcement agency receiving a missing person complaint must immediately prepare and send a report to the Alabama Center for Missing and Exploited Children. And in Alabama, anyone, whether it's a family member, friend, or caregiver, can report someone missing. That report includes the person's full legal name, date of birth, and a complete physical description, including height, weight, hair, and eye color, and any distinguishing features like scars, birthmarks, or tattoos. And details about the disappearance, including the last known location and the time they were last seen or heard from. A description of the clothing they were wearing at the time. If they have a vehicle, its make, model, color, and license plate number, and information about their phone, friends, and known hangouts. Once the report is filed, searches can start and alerts can be issued without delay, giving investigators the best chance to locate your missing loved one. According to Aaliyah, once the report is filed, they will determine whether the situation qualifies for an alert through ACMEC, including Amber Alerts for adopted children, missing and endangered persons, alerts for vulnerable individuals, and other alerts. So we can
Probably heard the phrase, if you cannot afford an attorney, one will be provided for you. It's a constitutional right guaranteed by the Sixth Amendment. Defendants who can't afford a lawyer are supposed to receive a public defender. But are there situations where a judge might deny one? Who decides if someone qualifies, and what criteria are used to make that determination? We verify.
When someone is facing criminal charges, an attorney can make the difference between freedom and a lot of time in jail. The right to counsel is enshrined in the Constitution, but the process isn't as straightforward as you might think. Can a defendant be denied a public defender in Alabama? Let's verify. Our sources are the United States Supreme Court, the Code of Alabama, and legal research database Justia. Here's what we found. According to the 1963 Supreme Court case Gideon versus Wainwright, anyone facing felony charges is to receive a court-appointed attorney if they can't afford a lawyer on their own. Then in 1972, Argersinger versus Hamlin expanded that right to misdemeanor cases where jail time is possible. In Alabama versus Shelton in 2002, the court clarified that defendants charged with minor offenses that carry no risk of jail time, like certain traffic violations, are not entitled to a public defender. In Alabama, there are additional standards you must meet. Alabama Code Section 1512(1) states you must qualify as an indigent defendant to receive a public defender. That means your income must be at or below 125% of the federal poverty level. If your income is between 125 and 200%, that's double the poverty line. The judge must determine that paying for a lawyer would cause you substantial hardship in order to qualify. If you earn more than 200% of the poverty level, you could only qualify if you're charged with a felony and the court determines not providing counsel would cause substantial hardship. Under Section 1512(5), judges also consider your ability to pay for legal counsel based on your assets, disposable income, the nature of the offense, and the complexity of the case. And according to the 1975 Supreme Court case, Ferretta versus California, defendants have a constitutional right to represent themselves. If you choose to waive your right to counsel, the judge must ensure your decision is made knowingly and voluntarily. So we can verify that yes, a judge can deny you a public defender in Alabama. You can be denied if you don't meet the financial eligibility ID requirements, if the charge carries no risk of jail time, if you fail to provide required documentation, or if you choose to represent yourself.
All right, if you have something you want us to verify, text us at 256-382-2692.
When you're facing a crisis or want to help someone in need, GoFundMe can be a powerful tool, but there's strict rules about who can receive funds, what causes are allowed, and what's not allowed. Violating these rules could get your fundraiser shut down or worse. So what are the rules when it comes to donating or receiving funds on GoFundMe? Let's verify. Our sources are GoFundMe's official terms of service and platform policies. Here's what we found. First up, who can actually receive money from a fundraiser? The person receiving funds must be over 18 years of age, have a government-issued photo ID, and have a bank account in one of the 20 countries GoFundMe supports. Your bank account also needs to match the currency of your fundraiser. And here's an important point. GoFundMe doesn't handle taxes for you, so you're responsible for reporting and paying any taxes on the money you receive. Next, what can you raise money for? According to GoFundMe, you can fundraise for yourself, friends, family, or even strangers. Things like medical bills, education costs, funerals, youth sports, and pet expenses are all fair game. But there are some hard lines you can't cross. According to GoFundMe, creating a campaign that's fraudulent or misleading or using the money for a different reason than what the fundraiser was set up for violates their terms of service. And if someone does violate those terms, it could result in the removal of their campaign, possible civil or criminal consequences, being banned from the platform, and refunds to donors. Now, what about the donors? If they're worried about fraud, there's the GoFundMe Giving Guarantee, which protects them if their money gets misused. If anyone has concerns about a fundraiser, they can flag it, and GoFundMe's trust and safety team will look into it. Also, if donors want their money back, they can fill out a refund request form on the site.
As temps continue to drop this winter, many of us are reaching for space heaters to stay warm. They're convenient, portable, and can help cut down on heating costs. But every year, space heaters are linked to thousands of house fires across the country. So are space heaters actually safe to use in your home? We verify.
Portable electric space heaters have become a popular way to heat one room or supplement central heating. But according to the latest data from the National Fire Protection Association, space heaters and heating stoves account for nearly half of home heating equipment fires. So are space heaters safe to use? Let's verify. Our sources are the National Fire Protection Association and Huntsville Fire and Rescue's Assistant Fire Marshal Jerry Tanner. The NFPA reports that heating fires peak during the winter months, with nearly half of all home heating equipment fires occurring between December and February. Assistant Fire Marshal Tanner says space heaters and candles are a leading cause of fires this time of year as people try to stay warm and supplement their heat. Here's what he had to say about whether space heaters are safe to use.
Absolutely they are, as long as you get the right type. Most of them nowadays, they're UL listed, Underwriters Laboratory listed, which means that they're tested.
Tanner says newer models come with important safety features, including automatic shutoff if tipped over, built-in thermostats, and timers. But even with these safety features, space heaters are still a leading cause of fires.
A lot of people will overload a circuit as possible. One thing we tell everybody that if you're going to have a space heater plugged into an outlet in your house, don't have anything else plugged into it, because they do draw a lot of power.
Tanner also warns about placing space heaters too close to flammable materials. He says a common problem is people sitting on couches or chairs with space heaters too close, which can cause blankets to catch fire. Tanner emphasizes that heat is heat across the board. Whether it's a newer model or an older one, they all reach temperatures that can cause combustible items to ignite. The NFPA recommends keeping the heater at least 3 feet away from anything that can burn, including people. Place the heater on a solid flat surface. Plug the heater directly into the wall outlet and don't have anything else plugged into it. Space heaters should also be turned off and unplugged when you leave the room or go to bed. Tanner also reminds people to make sure they have carbon monoxide detectors and smoke detectors in their homes.
Every 6 months, the rule of thumb is when we do the time change, is when you should change your batteries. Whether you feel like they need it or not, just make it a habit. When we spring forward with our clocks and we fall back with our clocks, just go ahead and change those batteries out and be safe.
So we can verify that yes, portable electric space heaters are safe to use, but only if you follow specific safety guidelines. So if you're in the market for a space heater this winter season, first purchase a heater that is UL listed. Choose a heater with a thermostat and overheat protection, and make sure your heater has an auto shut off to turn the heater off if it tips over.